2012 for over 12 years. The longest running live review on YouTube. If you fuck with him, you lose. Donate live to help Joe survive. If you fuck with Joe, it's suicide. You wish you died. Joe Cronin Show. Raw's on Netflix. If you fuck with him.
Suck my private parts. These are my private parts.
So I want to take a look at the sort of the trends already, so you can kind of take a look at it. These are over the past 90 days. It's kind of interesting. Take a look at this. Okay, so these are the Netflix numbers. So the yellow is Netflix, right? So obviously that big spike right there, that is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So I really like this. If this gives you a good indication of things, that gigantic spike is Jake Paul. And now I will say that we are waiting for the Raw numbers to really come out. So we really don't yet have the internet numbers fully yet. So I don't know what that little spike is over here. I'm not sure if this is like, it's Christmas. That's what it is. So on Christmas, people were watching Netflix like crazy or searching Netflix. I don't know if Squid Games was coming out that Christmas morning or something. I don't know. So that's a big spike on Christmas kind of. And then of course this is our trend upwards towards the WWE Raw on Netflix. January 7th, 6th. It's actually kind of down there. It's kind of weird. But to get a good idea, it is on the rise here, but it's not even close to what happened on Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. So we knew that was going to happen. There were some people out there like it's going to be as big or close to or bigger. So for any of the small few people out there that really believed it was going to be like bigger or crazier or whatever they were saying, like it was... No. But, like, we saw you saying that, but that's crazy. Never did I think that was going to be the case. So let's get rid of Netflix now. And now we're just down to Raw and WWE. And over the course of the last 90 days, obviously, the interest in WWE and Raw, it did spike to its biggest amount. So last night of the last 90 days was the biggest night of WWE Raw in the last 90 days. So there you have that. That would be pretty much expected, I would think, that you would bet on that being the case, I would believe. So that's, once again, that's understandable there. And then if you go and we move it to the past year, you'll see that WWE and Raw, although Raw though does get obliterated. So, but we don't know that we don't yet know the numbers on this. If you look, the trending model hasn't projected fully the numbers yet. So we actually are still waiting on these exact numbers and measurements. That's the prediction and that's the trend. It looks like it would hit that. If that's the case, it would be the second most popular time of the past year, only falling short to WrestleMania. However, it would make the term Raw the most popular search term of Raw in that time frame. What's interesting about that is Raw had been doing better earlier last year. And if you look at, you see Raw is sort of riding that 50 line, and then towards the end here it does kind of take a dive below the 50 line. But if you look at Monday Night Raw over the last few months, Raw was again riding that 50 line and then dipping down, and now it's shooting up and over, and it's going to go up. And so it looks like Raw is going to have, they're going to have the most watched, the most searched, the most popular time Raw has been in the last year will probably be the other night on Netflix. So of the last year, Raw was the most popular it had been in a year. Now we're going to change the search to 5 years. We're going to go back 5 years. And with this, we are also going to see that it looks like in the last 5 years, it looks like Raw is either going to tie or exceed the highest period, because the highest period Raw ever got to, looking at the data on the scale, it never beats 52. It only hits 52 a couple of times, and last night it has hit that 52 on the scale. So the term Raw was searched at the highest level of the last 5 years. Just barely. And I mean very barely. However, we're still waiting on the numbers, and they're really not going to be fully synced out there till tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to have a clearer picture of how big that win was. When it comes to the WWE search term, though, it looks like the WWE search term isn't doing as well. It is the highest it's been in a year, and it is probably like, it looks like it's going to be the 12th most popular spike of the last 5 years. So of the last 5 years, the term WWE was searched and looked for 12th place of the last 5 years, which that's a little disappointing, but really we're looking for Raw, I guess. So Raw is really the biggest thing. And that is definitely, looks like Raw is going to be the highest search term of the last 5 years. So last night's show was more popular socially in the last 5 years than anything of the last 5 years, which is pretty crazy. That's pretty good. I mean, I would kind of expect that, but I didn't know if maybe like the Raw 30 and Vince McMahon, Stone Cold a few years ago and all that stuff was going on. Like, it's pretty big. But yeah, it beat that. But if we go back to 2004 to present, you can see now this is not a good measurement because not as many people were on the internet in 04, and not as many people were searching terms like this in 04, so the numbers don't really correlate correctly. They really don't correlate right until about 2008 or 9, which is fine for me. But you can see how much the WWE has kind of dropped off. I mean, look at the popularity of WWE in 2016. In 2016, the WWE hit the highest search term it ever has. That's crazy. So WWE was searched the most ever in 2016. That's wild. That syncs up with like when my channel was the biggest. So that makes sense. So then it dove downward since then, and we've been in this kind of like schmut over here, which is not too bad, but it's not great either. It's not the best. It's all right. Obviously, though, this 2007 was huge here, and that's really big for back then in 07. That spike is huge, so that's big time for back then. But for the social media age and the way we search things nowadays, to be down here is a little ugly. Like, you would think it would get back up to 2016, but it really just shows you how much WWE has really dropped off. But this Raw chart, if you look at it, I mean, look at this. Raw here is hitting a 40 search number. Then according to this scale, this is a 50. So you're seeing that last night's Raw is one of the most popular. And honestly, after we get the numbers in tomorrow fully, by the end of the day tomorrow or the next day, but probably by mid-afternoon tomorrow, we may be saying that last night's Raw was the most searched and biggest Raw of all time. And according to these numbers here, they do back that up. These numbers are backing up that last night's Raw has never been searched and been that talked about, I think, in its history, that's pretty crazy. And I think part of that is because in the past, even when they had a huge Raw and, Stone Cold and people like that came out, it was a lot of the WWE crowd that was coming back and making it big. But last night, what you saw was a lot of other people who don't usually search wrestling were searching Raw stuff. So I guess that's probably the reason for that. But generally, I get it that the WWE search term is the better term to be looking for. Like, the popularity of WWE depends on the name WWE. So the WWE search term is really the important thing. But I figured we'd look at both because it does mean something. it does mean something that the search term Raw and the search term WWE. And so yeah, that's very interesting. And so you'll see what happens. Obviously, there's the spike for the week. We obviously knew that would happen. This is the regular week, and this is the spike of the show, which that happens every week. So you really got to go back at least 30 days, and then you see that's the biggest spike of 30 days. You would expect that. You would hope that would be the case. But we will see what this really means and what it really leads to going forward in the future. What does it actually mean? 2007 Chris Benoit. Oh yeah, maybe that's what it is. Hulk Hogan beer is up 1,000%, brother. Maybe I can get Hulk Hogan to sponsor me with his beer. Can we do that? How can we get Hulk Hogan to sponsor this show with his beer? Hulk Hogan, $10,000. I'll drink the beer all year long. I'll promote the beer every show. Hulk Hogan, maybe 5,000 even. Maybe I'd do it for 5,000. We just got to reach out to Hogan. We got to reach out. Does Hogan have like a Twitter? Oh, there he is, yeah. We need that Real American Beer sponsorship, brother. 2 million views. I'll drink it on air for a year, baby. Hit me up, Hulkster. Real American Beer. He doesn't have a Twitter for Real American Beer? What? That's crazy. That's crazy. There's no what? Oh, they do have a thing. Unbelievable. Well, I tweeted Real American Beer. Imagine that. I could play the song and then guzzle the beer. That would be like the thing. I would start every show that way. I would start every show with like Real American. We'd play it. And then the beer would come up and then I'd crack it open and I'd go, before we get to the show, let's celebrate America with a Real American Beer, baby. And like we'd have a catchphrase and we just pour it down the hatch. And we just guzzle Real American Beer on the air. Oh, it'd be so good. Can you imagine that? We need the sponsorship, Hogan. $10,000, baby. $10,000 for loser Joe Cronin, please. Thank you. That would really help me out for at least a couple of months if I could get that sponsorship. But what if he paid more? We could do more with it. What if only I had more viewers and listeners? That'd be really good. It's too bad I don't. Oh, man, if only I had 5,000 viewers every episode. I think then, like 100,000, 200,000 views a video. Man, the sponsorships. Oh, boy. We'd get them so quick. We'd be telling them like, hey, 2 million views a week. Get your beer 10 million views. Oh, my God, bro. And we'll give away beer. We'll give away Real American Beer, guys. Oh, boy. Pour it all over a sexy girl and slap her in the butt. And then guzzle it down and stare at my wife and say, deal with it. And then spike the beer on the floor. Punt it through a goalpost. I mean, we'll make this thing really American. Like, I mean, dude, I'm Al Bundy. I'm ready to go. Let's rock. Okay? Get me the beer. But, instead I'm a loser scumbag, and we have 55 likes, and I'm wearing a Diablo shirt, and it's a Tuesday night. Used to do a Tuesday night throwdown, or Tuesday night rage, rather, on Tuesday nights. But, every time I create a show for a certain night, somebody else creates a show at the same time. It's very weird. But, yeah. Tuesday night rage. Tuesday night retard. What's up, everybody? I'm Joe. I'm a retard. And it's Tuesday night retard. Let's see what I had to say before WWE Raw on Netflix happened. Before Raw on Netflix came out and went on the air, I had my opinions on it, and we should probably listen and see, compare how that ended up working out for me and for all of us. Now, where's the fucking thumbnail I made? Oh, there it is. There it is. It looks like I just got caught waxing my carrot right there. Don't you love it? All right, let's listen to it. Let's see how close I was exactly here. For those of you who didn't hear it. You can hear all these things on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. There's like 88 patrons over there listening to this stuff, and if you're not a patron, man, then you're missing it. It's a run-of-the-mill show. So disappointing, so stupid, and a waste. And it just, you don't want it to be that. So that's what I'm looking forward to tonight. But real quickly, let's hear the clip from Bulltard last night on Monetize This. And real quickly, thank you guys for being patrons. Thank you guys so much with every part. Really appreciate you guys being at a higher level. And of course,
of walking to the bathroom for the second time today.
No, I played leapfrog. That was my workout for the day.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because the bullfrog that we know is a fat sack of shit.
Hey, Bird, you want to get frog with me? I'll leave some tadpoles inside you.
Oh, Jesus. Cronin.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for Cronin. Save me.
That might have been the greatest thing that Bulltard ever said that he didn't say. That might have been the funniest thing that Bullfrog ever said, and he didn't really say it. Kind of like it's kind of funny. The character of him, is like, I don't know. That's incredibly funny. That it's up there with probably the time that he said he was a Nazi on Twitter or whatever. CM Punk against Seth Rollins tonight. I mean, it better be good. It better be good, but there better be other stuff that happens on Raw tonight. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Roman Reigns to engage in tribal combat, whatever the fuck that means. Stupid. But anyway, Roman Reigns versus Sikoa, I guess. John Cena marks first stop of Farewell Tour on the Raw on Netflix premiere. So there you go. John Cena is appearing, so that's a big deal. That's, one of the big things tonight, so that's good. All the people of the last, I would say 18 years or so will be chiming in, tuning in to see John Cena probably on Netflix. And people that are, maybe sifting through the channels who are big Cena marks for like 5 to 7 years, and then they finally faded away from wrestling. They may be starting to feel nostalgic. Hey, I loved John Cena when I was 7 years old, or I loved John Cena when I was 10 years old. I loved John Cena when I was 15 or whatever. And now I'm 20 or now I'm 25 and I don't really watch wrestling anymore, but I was skimming through Netflix and I guess Raw's on Netflix tonight. I forgot. I haven't seen it in forever. So we're at the point now where we're getting nostalgia from the 10-year-olds and the 15-year-olds and the 8-year-olds who were all those ages when Cena first became Cena. Whereas, we're used to feeling all of the nostalgia for Stone Cold and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, my generation more. Cena really came into the picture as I was already, 23 years old, or 22 years old, rather. And I was sort of like, well, I'm too old for this, kind of. But, but Cena still goes back. He still goes back a ways. I mean, yeah, actually, I guess I was wrong. The age I was 20. I think I was 20 when Cena first showed up. So, yeah, I mean, there's nostalgia for me. I mean, I guess that's 20 years. 20 years of Cena. I mean, that's crazy when you think about it. Half of my life, I've seen John Cena wrestle. That's crazy because he still feels like John Cena is the first person where he still feels like the new guy to me, a bit new. And he's not at all new. He's already lived a whole career, 20 years. But the problem is I don't realize how old I am. My life has gone by so fast, I didn't realize it. Dude, the first 20 years of my life was the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era started, and, you know, the 90s era, the 80s classic era. Like, I mean, that's crazy. I lived through 20 years of original WWE from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and then I lived another 20 years of post that, to which where John Cena really started that. So it's really crazy how fast life has moved, and you know it out there. If you're over 35 years old, I feel like when you're 30 maybe and when you're 25, you think life is going by kind of fast then, and you're like, man, I'm getting old, and it's like you kind of just say that, but it's stupid because I'm telling you right now, when you're 25 and when you're 22 and 25 and 28, you think you're getting older, and you think, wow, life is like, this is crazy. But what's crazy is you sort of, at that age, you say that, and you kind of feel it a little bit when you say it, but you really don't feel it until you hit the age of like maybe 35 to 40. Or put Grandpa in the basement. That's a pretty awesome card, probably. So for me, it's like a skeptical, that's all right, but wish there was more, but that's pretty good, I guess. We'll see what happens. But I know that a lot of you guys out there are probably like, yes, that's friggin' great. Let's go. I'm pumped. That's great. I hope it's good. We're going to find out tonight how good it really is. And, of course, Raw on Netflix, I really hope we start getting some way of measuring this and seeing how many people are into it. And, honestly, the Raw review tonight is going to tell me a lot. And I'm not just going to look at mine. I'm not going to be narcissistic to myself. I'm going to look around at other people's numbers and see what the numbers are all around. And quite honestly, if the numbers are good all around, then you'll start to realize that more people are watching, because after Raw on Netflix, I know that people will go looking for streamers and people to react to it because they want to hear what other people are saying about it. So, you know, we're going to find out how well Netflix did in some way. Maybe not in a 100% way, or maybe not in a real way that we could really measure things accurately, but in some small way, we're going to have an idea based on, search volume and stuff. Now, is that going to be a little bit inflated by John Cena being here? Yes, probably will be. It probably will. But we can also compare that to some of the other times John Cena has been advertised and shown back up again. So we'll do that. We're going to dive into the numbers and make our best guesstimate based on numbers. We're going to look at the last 5 John Cena appearances on Raw, and we're going to look at those numbers and those review numbers and those search volumes. And then we're going to compare it to tonight's Netflix search volumes. And we're going to see how much of a difference that this really makes. And honestly, it could make a big difference. Now, I want to thank you guys for being here and listening to this bonus podcast. I have another corrupted episode coming up with Luke Rojas. And ladies and gentlemen, I am trying hard to get Luke Rojas on more. Well, those are some of the ramblings of me the other day before Raw on Netflix happened. So I don't know how accurate things were. We're still waiting on the numbers, really. I thought maybe tonight we would hit some of those numbers. We did go over the numbers earlier if you just got here a little bit. But but we may not really get better numbers until tomorrow, and then after that, I don't know when the next time we'll have some R. But
hey, Bullfrog is a moron.
Scissor me, Joe!
Sup, Joe? What WWE did last night was shameful and embarrassing, completely breaking kayfabe. Fuck The Rock, Triple H, and that fake fuck Cody Rhodes. If AEW did this, we would all bury them. WWE shouldn't get a pass.
Yeah, you might be right. I thought it's weird because last night I really liked the show. I thought I liked it, and I did have a good time for the most part, but I was watching it with a little bit of like a weird yuck to it. And And it got worse and worse and worse. And where is the Triple H clip? I have a Triple H actually brought that up during his press conference last night, but I didn't save it. I didn't like it, or I didn't save it, or I didn't retweet it, or something. So, yeah, I actually don't have it, but Triple H spoke about it, and he basically said, I heard people, complaining about that. So Triple H talked about that. He's like, I heard people complaining about that, and I was like, he's like, we're not hiding what we do, I don't know why people are upset about that. We don't hide what we do. That was his explanation. I don't have the clip, but, yeah, his explanation was, we don't hide what we do, so I really, if I was a professional, I would probably have that queued up, and I thought I did, actually, but apparently I don't. So Hulk Hogan getting booed out of the building. So, that happened too. So the more you look at last night, the more sad it becomes. It's weird how it went from whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Jubilation, happiness, fun, to like, the ring kind of looks AI. The ring kind of looks fake, like AI created a ring, and then it looks like AI created an arena that's not real. And then on top of that, Hulk Hogan came out and got massively booed. Trying to find the clip though, but I swear to God, like I had liked it. I'm so fucking mad I don't have it. It's stupid. I just told you what he said, but it's good to hear it from his mouth. I thought we had it. But basically, yeah, Triple H was like, fuck you, like we're not hiding what we do. I guess. It's funny, if you look up Triple H kayfabe, it's like all this shit that comes up is Tony Khan. Like, it's just negative videos on Tony Khan. What is this? But I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I can't find it. I don't know. I guess we'll never find it. I can look and look and look and we'll never find it. Now it's just pissing me off that I can't find it. Mark Zuckerberg is now fully into UFC and Twitter, and he's friends with Elon and everybody that's rich. It's fucking kind of crazy to see what happened. Spectral Citizen, man, thank you for coming back to the Patreon. I just saw you sign back up on Patreon, so thank you to Spectral Citizen for coming back on there, man. Actually, because of that, the Patreon is actually at only by $5, but it's at it's at the most it's been at in 3 months, so that's good. Patreon is at the most it's been in 3 months, and with 88 patrons, which, by the way, I'll put in the chat for Patreon. There it is. Check that out. Nick Khan was on NXT with Triple H tonight. Yikes. Jesus. I mean, I showed you, though, the Raw term was the most searched Raw term of, it looks like, of all time. Or at least, maybe not the late 90s, maybe not like the 90s, I don't know. But Raw itself, the term, was searched more last night than ever before in the history of Raw. Now, WWE wasn't at its most popular search, but Raw was. And Raw didn't come close to the search term WWE, but, you know, it did really well. So, which is, you know, I mean, kind of expected, but also not necessarily. You know? Trump admits that Zuckerberg is probably changing Meta's policies in response to his threats, which have included threats to jail him, blatant, transparent capitulation with a side of humiliation. Congratulations, Zuck. That's sad for I think it's sad for Zuck.
I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man was very impressive. I watched it. Actually, I watched it on Fox. I'm not allowed to say that. Say it?
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past? With
Probably. Yeah, probably.
The last time you were here, you were asked a question about the U.S.
I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man.
They're terrified. Trump's gonna put him in jail. Here's The Rock with his daughter. If you were a hot indie wrestler, Joey Janela says, in 2018, you either possibly rich and possibly mingling with The Rock on TV, or maybe canceled because you were a weirdo. Or you're Joey Janela getting ironing boards thrown at your head by Dr. Redacted in a Knights of Columbus on New Year's Eve. I don't know why Joey Janela just made a random post about himself, but I love the narcissism.
Because his jaw is wired shut because you broke it in half.
And yet, that moment...
The Rock's daughter is just fucking weird on TV, man. She reminds me of like someone's annoying sister or something.
Has played on every episode of NXT since. But for some reason, tonight, big historic episode of NXT, New Year's Evil, Ethan Page is nowhere to be seen.
Ethan, let me make something very clear.
Tonight was New Year's Evil?
This is my show.
Been last
this is
week?
NXT, and I call the shots. Oh, perfect timing,
Oh,
actually.
Ava, there's nothing perfect about this whatsoever.
Actually, it is perfect.
God, she is awful. Awfully awesome. Hire me, WWE.
That is correct. Ava?
Yes, Javon's jaw.
Javon's jaw.
Yeah, he deserved it.
All right, well, payback's gonna be a bitch. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
I heard you broke a guy's wrist.
Fingers.
Oh, his
but
fingers.
I'll happily take credit for wrists.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I tell you, as I told everyone today, meeting this NXT roster, and it was awesome meeting them. Every woman, every man, if they need anything, they come to me. If you need anything, you come to me.
I like the sounds of that.
All right. One more thing.
Okay.
I am the final boss, like the final boss, but on this show, NXT, she's the final boss.
It's weird how, you know, I want to see the grades for Vince McMahon and his daughter versus The Rock and his daughter. You know, that could be, at one point, the WWE was run by Vince and his daughter. Now it's run by The Rock and his daughter. Like to see that match.
So, if you and I are going to be cool, and I want us to be cool, then you and her need to be cool.
She's looking really cute here.
Cool?
We're gonna be cool.
I'll see you on the main roster one day.
I hope so.
All right.
I can't believe The Rock said main roster there.
Get your sweet ass on out of here.
And then he slapped him in the ass because The Rock is a demonic beast from Hollywood where, you know, they perform butt sex for rituals to get more movies and money and fame and make deals with the devil. So he slapped him in his anus and probably fingered it a little bit as he did it.
We're going to be cool.
Here it is.
I'll see you on the main roster one day.
Slap his ass.
I hope so.
And finger his grundle a little bit. Watch this, right?
Get your
See, that was a big, ooh, yeah. Slap that boy.
Get your sweet ass on out of here.
There you go. See, The Rock can sexually harass people just like Vince McMahon did for so many years. You know, it's all one big looping thing. You know the deal. Yeah, Trump's talking about the Gulf of America. I think Trump and Elon Musk should probably take care of the homeless before they think about renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. As much as I think that's funny, I'd rather go ahead and, in one quick snap of the fingers, Elon Musk could probably solve homelessness for a while, or at least a big dent, if not solve it. And since nobody else will solve it, it'd be kind of fun if they solved homelessness. That'd be cool. But they would, I guess we want to rename the Gulf of Mexico instead. So that's really cool. Was Sean Combs on NXT? No, I think he's in jail, Alex. I think Diddy's in jail, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he's in jail right now. The Rock is just the new Pat Patterson. Yeah. The Rock is just taking Pat's place, you know. Somebody's got to be there to suck, lick, and all the little boys around the ring, you know. Nikki Bella's single, that's true. She's looking hot, all dancing and shit and around and everything. I mean, you know, I can't get my wife to dance like that, so maybe I could get that. You know what I mean? Joe, what did you think of Nikki Glazer's cringy performance? I don't know. Where did she perform, and who is Nikki Glazer, and what did she do that was, like, what are we talking about? Because I don't even know who that is. Mexico City, we're renaming that, says President Trump. Okay. We don't need everything America named. What is wrong with being called Gulf of Mexico? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just, you know, Trump says things. I don't know. People freak out. He's not going to name anything. He's just joking around. People are dumb. They're like, oh, my God, he's going to do it. And they're like, oh, my God, he's going to go to war in Greenland or whatever. It's like, no, he just says these things to deter people and to win a, you know, negotiation. And he usually does win. He doesn't win all of them, but he does a pretty good job of winning them. So he says these things all the time. He said he would nuke North Korea when he was president the last time. How do people not understand this? The guy was president for 4 years. It was the most peaceful time of presidency of 40 years. Fact. Can't deny that. Most peaceful time in like 40 years. Donald Trump's presidency. As far as like wars and world wars and stuff, it was the most peaceful. He's the most peaceful president. That's crazy. Even if you hate him, it's like, well, that's true. Now they're like, oh my God, he's going to go to war. Well, he said he would nuke North Korea. He called him Little Rocket Man. He better be careful because I'll blow him to hell. I'll nuke his ass. Little Rocket Man. One push of the button and I'd turn Rocket Man into dust. He said stuff like that. People are like, oh my God. And then what happened? Then he literally flew to meet with Little Rocket Man, shook his hand, told him he should do better for his people, and he should stop fucking around. And what did Little Rocket Man do? He stopped fucking around for like 4 years. And now it's like six years later, he started fucking around again. After COVID was over and Trump was gone, he starts fucking around again. He had Little Rocket Man shutting the fuck up. And he shook his hand and became friends with him, kind of like, hey, frenemies, you know, friends with the enemy. Hey, man, we don't want to kill each other, right? Of course we don't. We don't want me to blow your people up. You don't want to see all the people you love on fire and burning and scratching themselves as they burn and die. You know, you want to live fat and eat a bunch of food and have a good time and rule over these people and be the king of North Korea. We love you. You're a great guy. It's unbelievable. You're so unbelievable. But, like, let's do that. I would rather that. I don't want you to be tortured or to be killed or to die. You know, you should have fun, exciting times. America's with you. Okay? Unless you do something weird, and then we'll kill you. How many people did Trump say that to? So many people. No war. Peace. That's all you got to know. Taylor Swift for president? Jesus Christ. I don't know. I might kill myself. That's the case. But anyway, we looked at the numbers. I'm out of here.